the link in the description and support the podcast.
But there's a few things I missed from last week. So I want to start right there with the things that I missed from last week. So not last week's Express Truth episode. It was the week before when, when the Jamaican ladies football team made it. Yes. Yeah, they made it to the last 16. So anyway, we did a little segment on the show, and I'm talking about it, and I'm saying, how are you like struggling for money when you're sponsored by Adidas? I'm like, how does that even make sense? So that clip, I posted a clip on the Express Truth Instagram talking about that. Anyway, a football channel posted that same clip. So they're called 360 TV. Let me turn down my mic, sorry. 360 TV. Now these guys have got like a lot of followers, a lot of engagement, and they posted that clip. So that particular clip got some good engagement, good comments. Mm-hmm. And then what happens next is somebody contacts me, and I can't say who it is, exactly who the person is, because the person, obviously for known reasons, they don't want to be, they don't want to lose their job or whatever position they sit in. But they sit in a very serious position. And I'll put it here, I'll leave it at this. They sit in a position of a very large company, and their position is powerful. Now, this person wanted to get some information over to myself, and that information was, and they want this information to be shared out there, and they want me to say it on the actual podcast. But what the person was saying is, Jamaica cut a deal for their kits to be sponsored by Adidas. Now they do a very small deal that runs year to year. Now the numbers are very, very low, what the deal's worth. And they get that number. They also get all of their bags, football boots, training stuff, everything. They get all of that personalized coming from Adidas. On top of that, depending if they go through each stage of the competition, they get a payment that goes directly to the Jamaican Football Federation. So what the person was trying to say is, a company like Japan, what am I about company? Sorry, people. A country like Japan or a country like England, if you do a deal with England, you're guaranteed to make millions, because England has what? Millions of fans. The fans have what? Money. The money does what? It buys the kits, it buys the merch. So anyone who sponsors England know it's going to cost a pretty penny to sponsor England. Same with Japan. Same with Germany. Same with all of these big nations. Now, a nation like Jamaica is very, very small. 3 million people living on the island. I'd say 10 plus million, diaspora and whatever else living outside of the island. But it's a lifestyle country. So what the person was trying to say is, that deal is quite weird that they've taken a deal like that, because the amount of merch that Yard can sell to even non-football fans is crazy. So the person was basically saying that's why they're struggling for money, because the powers that be that are in charge of the sports are taking on deals that are not good. Almost like they were that excited to be sponsored by Adidas, they didn't even care about the monetary gain.
Let me jump in and
Yeah.
add one. You got more to add to this, Sibley?
Last thing I'll say, Noble. Last thing I'll say before you come in. The person who said this, listen, is official. They sent over their credentials. They sent over imagery to show me the position they sit in. They also sent over their Instagram to make me know. And I can send this over to you, Noble. And there's a voice note too. I just can't play it on here. But my man basically broke down that that's why the team was struggling. So they wanted me to say that. So what are you saying, Noble?
To set the record straight. Now that's everything you've laid out there is, of course, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. What I would question is, like you said, they were that gassed in essence that, we got these brands as a sponsor. We'll take anything. I don't know about that, sibling. And some people don't like what I'm going to say, but it's the truth. Once you get up into positions of power, you get an ego, and you also get access to what? People, organizations, charities, etc., businessmen who want to do business with the government, and they will pay like their damn way. And coming from the West Indies, the Caribbean, unfortunately, our islands are plagued, with people who would just take bribes and money here and there to make things go through. So I wouldn't say there was scarcity, but I think they was like, yeah, man, okay, as long as you pay us, you just, whatever, man. Give us like about a $10 million something, then yeah, man, whatever. You can give us an unfavorable deal because ultimately we're getting paid ourselves, and to the outward people, it's a big link still. Adidas are sponsoring JA, football team, that's it. A money thing, greed.
1,000.
That should have never happened.
1,000. And that's basically the individual was saying that, when you guys are saying things, call out the people in charge of those decisions, because that's who has made it that the team come up short. So call out them people, because realistically, why I'm also saying this is because when everyone's running out to buy their Adidas Yard merch, they're not actually benefiting from that. Now, that's not Adidas's fault. Let me say that. Business is business. But for you to cut a deal like that with Yard, as the individual said, this is a white individual, and he said, Jamaica's pull in the sports world may not be that big, but as a lifestyle country, it's major. Major. So imagine how much kits are being sold worldwide. You see what I mean? So yeah, that's just that. I just wanted to start off right there, because we're definitely taking it easy today. So you got anything to add to that, Noel, before we just quickly step into a quick piece of combat and keep it moving?
Yeah, well, to add to that, the build that you did was excellent. Outside of this additional information you got on, you've shared, it's a sad indictment where, we've got talented individuals who are, doing everything they can do to represent not only for themselves, not only for their parish, but for their country and on a world stage. And we get this kind of thing happening. That's a massive black eye, man. That can't go on. Paraguay are doing stuff like that for their women's team. Brazil, they're doing things like that. Montserrat, they're doing things like that with a population of just under 5,000 people. You think that when they sent their team to the Pan Caribbean flipping World Cup something, you think them mans had to pay their own thing, and there's only just under 5,000 people there on the island? Nah.
Yeah, even Haiti.
Yes.
Oh, Haiti. We speak about. We tend to speak about. Well, I tend to speak about a lot about what's wrong, but Haiti were behind their team. And, you can't tell me that Haiti's got more resources than Yard with all of the, the terrible things that's taken place there.
Exactly.
So it's absolutely crazy, man. But we're going to pivot. So last week we jumped on here, but because we jumped on and there was a few external situations that kind of took my mind away from the agenda. We didn't even speak about the Joshua fight. We never spoke about. We didn't even speak about Dillian Whyte popping dirty.
Oh no.
Cool. Okay. By now, everyone knows what the situation is. Joshua and Dillian Whyte was set to fight last Saturday, but the fight fell through. That fight fell through because Dillian Whyte tested positive for drug enhancements, performance enhancements drugs. He popped dirty. So the long and short of this is simple. Dillian Whyte has popped dirty 3 times now. 3 times. I'm not saying that the man. Matter of fact, it's difficult to even say, because when a man pops dirty 3 times, you got to start asking yourself, was it an accident? Like every single one of these boxers that get nabbed for taking performance enhancing drugs always say the same thing. I'm going to clear my name. And I'm thinking, that don't even make sense, because how did it get in your body? Like, forget it, unless somebody literally spiked you.
Spike the thing. Yeah.
How did it get in your body? And what I'm saying is, someone like Conor Ben, the media went hard on him. That's the first time he's popped dirty. Now, is there questionable things around my man popping dirty? Yes, there is. But it's the first time. Could he have been spiked? Yeah, he could have been spiked. But when a man's popping dirty 3 times, Noble, after the first time, you would know, literally, there's going to be nobody giving me no water or doing nothing that I don't know where they're coming from. So with Dillian Whyte, all I can say is something seems very, very fishy. However, I feel like a lot of these sports channels in the UK don't give their correct opinion. Please, Noble, this segment needs to be on CFR Sports. Now, people, hear what I'm saying? This is why I struggle to follow a lot of these YouTube boxing channels, because if it was Deontay Wilder who popped dirty, the landscape and the commentary would look a lot different to how it's looking right now. When it's somebody who you can physically see, like you can literally go out there and bump into Dean Whyte, aka Lamar Scott, which is Dillian Whyte's right-hand man. I'm talking about, you can see my man anywhere. So if you was on the internet talking reckless or saying something that weren't favorable to that camp, you can run into them. So I notice a lot of these boxing YouTubers, when something goes wrong in a Dillian Whyte camp, they're not giving that true, thorough commentary. They're giving a commentary that is favorable to the day that they ran into my man, because it's an erratic individual.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell it as it is. Something is strange that is popped dirty 3 times. To me, it seems like you were probably trying a thing for the Joshua fight. I'm going to keep it 1,000. You're trying a thing for the Joshua fight and it's gone left. That's what it looks like. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what it looks like, because in life, especially when there's large amounts of cash, you get what I'm saying, Noble? Especially when there's large amounts of cash on the line, there's no way a man's making the same mistake 3 times. If you're walking down the road and you walk into a lamppost, you would have to be a very, matter of fact, you would have to be a very silly person to walk into that same lamppost ever again. Now you're going to be looking out for it. You're going to be walking and looking for that lamppost. But the commentary is not the same. And this is all I've been saying over the years. A lot of these channels have agendas. They dislike. I know there's a disconnect between the African Americans and the Black British when it comes to boxing, for the most part. But some of these channels ain't even trying to hide their bias. Like, you literally hate Deontay Wilder. Like, for anything, and don't get it twisted, my man says and does some things that are questionable.
Yes.
Only thing I'll say, Noble, is I wish these channels would keep that same energy across the board. That's all I ask, man. What you saying, Noble?
See, hold up, them. So you're surmising that them man's basically the combat sports podcasters in the UK, the majority of them at least, are shook.
Most definitely.
They don't wanna. So is it because of they're not gonna get access to have the interviews, or is it they're literally shook because if they physically see them, they're scared that something might go down?
A bit of both, Noble. Let me just quickly elaborate on that before you continue. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of, now let's say me, myself, I do a little boxing commentary, but it's landed on some heavy ears. There's a guy called Peter. He's a boxer. You know, he's coming up the ranks. He follows us on Instagram. We follow him back. He's signed to Dillian Whyte. Now, let's say I'm saying something negative about Dillian Whyte. That's who's giving him an opportunity.
See.
So if he turns around and hears me saying something negative now, I can't do nothing with you because you've said something unfavorable about a man who's helping me.
Let me stop you there.
Yeah,
Let me stop you there. Now, I can kind of understand that. But here's a big juicy but, non-enhanced, non-BBL. You're not disrespectful. I'm not disrespectful. There are people who go on and say the most disrespectful things about combat sports athletes. If you were sharing an opinion, whether it's favorable, whether it's not favorable, you should be big enough as an adult, as a combat sports athlete, as a prize fighter to know, all right, I don't necessarily agree with that, but they weren't coming at me. They weren't disrespectful. They weren't calling me out my name. I just don't agree with that thing. What's the problem?
In an ideal world, you're a sensible, mature adult. There's a lot of people that are adults but not sensible. There's a lot of people that are adults but not mature. So I've seen certain men going crazy on Deontay Wilder, calling him out his name, just straight up disrespecting that brother. But then for the same reasons, I've seen them same guys speak ever so respectfully of Dillian Whyte. Because, and the thing is, the reality is this. I'll tell you the truth, I'll tell you the facts, and I've tried to set it up, and I'm still trying to set it up right now, that Dean Whyte can come onto this stream right here, and me and him, we can have that conversation. It's gonna happen, It's gonna happen, Noble. Because when I completely abandoned that camp after the Tyson Fury build-up, I seen that them men are like being used as pawns in a game. They were being used as pawns, them guys, and they played into it. And I think his career was over at that point. But the rumors are he's popped there in numerous times for this fight. And the rumors allegedly, that these were trial drugs. How's he going to get out of that one, if that's true? If that's true, how do you get around that?
Trial drugs? What do you mean by that?
Trial drugs, so things that ain't even on the open market yet.
Right.
Yeah, man. Allegedly, Noble. Allegedly.
Oh, all right. Okay, then. This is the real thing. Real talk. Express truth. CFR. We talk the real. And it's unfortunate that I have to say this, but there were a lot of combat sports folk out there, amateur, pro, massive names, and they're taking performance enhancing substances. They're dirty fighters. It's unfortunate, and from, as you know, my exposure to the world, a lot of people, they get into the sport without even this in their mind. It's my talent, it's my abilities, it's my grit and determination, which is going to get me to the top. And you get to a point where you've got your coaches and your trainers saying, "Here, I got this needle still, right? You just need to take this thing twice a day for the first whatever period, and we'll taper you off. We'll come out your system, and it's just going to give you a bit more, we'll give you some EPO, and that's going to just give you a bit more endurance and the ability to keep on going. That's going to do you good in this fight. Next fight comes now. Yeah, we're going to give you TRT. Yeah, we're going to load you up with pure extra testosterone and build up that muscle, man, so we can give you devastating power for this particular fight." These mans are willingly coming into the thing, trying to do it. Some people are coerced into doing it. Some people are, as I say, this is, Steve, what are you talking about, mate? This is what we do. All your boxers, and they'll name them off, your eyes even sour. So they think, if they're all doing it, why should I be the clean fighter trying to do this the honest way, as most people think? Men who are stepping in the ring, women who are stepping in the ring, the cage, they're just putting in hard work. They're tough. They're grimy. They're soldiers. They're soldierettes. They're doing their damn thing. They're going out on their shield sometimes. That's what we think. But behind the scenes, they're popping this pill. They're jabbing this into their body. This, you know what I mean? They're doing all kind. Listen, stomach. There's people who break this stuff down on YouTube. Look at the stomach of this guy. We can see the injection sites where my man's pop. You know what I mean? Come on, people, man.
And it works. People will say, the maddest thing, people will turn around and say, okay, nah, man, but, you have to have talent. That's what wins fights. And yes, that is true. You do need to have talent. However, if you go gym, just to do a bit of cardio, let's say you're going to do a bit of cardio, and you take a pre-workout, tell me that pre-workout does not give you that extra boost. Now, that's something legal that's sold over the counter. So imagine something that, that isn't that. Of course, you're going to be nice. It's going to be able, if you can, certain things, it might just be that last little. You might suffer from fatigue. You fatigue early, you tire early, and there's something that can give you that boost. But what's mad about this is, and I can say this now because the fight fell through, and I don't think it will ever happen again. But Joshua, and I say this because Joshua's done a lot. I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. I don't know why. But Anthony Joshua, he don't get the credit. He doesn't. Joshua, okay, did he have a few fights that were not top level fights? Of course he did when he had the belt. However, he was trying to be. He was great, and he was trying to be, a generational talent, he was trying to achieve generational success. And when he went to New York and he jumped in with Andy Ruiz, that's where it all went wrong. From that fight there, he's never been the same. His soul was snatched, and he's never been that kind of aggressive. He's lost all of that. But also, this is a man who probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago, probably I'm going back too far. I'm not sure exactly the age. My man was moving 10-pound draws. He's jumped in a gym. He's been blessed by his ancestors with the genetics. because most people walk in a boxing gym at 18, you're not going to go far. He's done what is usually impossible to do. So I'm giving him his flowers for that. But he's made money that most people, it's unfathomable. Is that the correct?
That's it. You got it right.
Yeah,
Simba.
unfathomable. My man's made money to where FU money. So who was it? The legendary Marvin Hagler, who said, you know, it's hard to get out of bed at 4 or 5 a.m. in silk pajamas.
Yes.
So Joshua, you know, he's tried to box technique. He's realized, he's lost that killer instinct. He's gone, people. It's never coming back. Once that goes, it goes. Now, I believe this is going to sound crazy. 33, okay. It's going to sound crazy. I believe Dillian Whyte was going to beat him. I believe Dillian Whyte was going to catch him with something. Dillian Whyte's done. Shot to pieces. But this is that kind of fight that you'll get up for. And I think that, you know, if Dillian Whyte come aggressive, he could have caught Joshua with something. And I had a feeling Joshua was going to get KO'd in that. But,
early or what? Early, mid, late?
I mean, I'm saying mid to late, it would have happened when he started to tire. I think, you know, and I know that Dillian starts to fade down the line, but if my man had something in the tank,